All right, hey, I am live. I would like to see if somebody shows up like within like the first minute. Would be cool. I don't. I know that when people watch on the replay, they hear this part, and I wonder what people think of that. That they hear me just kind of like waiting for you guys, and I still haven't learned how to go live and then have that little countdown thing or whatever. I still don't know how to do that. Like where like you go live and it starts at 2 minutes and it like counts backwards. Like I don't know how to do that. Like if that's a part of like YouTube or if that's a part of like StreamYard or Yardbird or whatever it's called. But yeah, just go ahead and type in the chat and let me know if you can hear me and if everything's good. I know my voice is cracking. I mean, I had been losing my voice. Like, uh, I'm I'm trying to keep it together, guys. I know that I don't have all that much to do. And but it could get I don't know the strain of my voice could get real harsh. And it's not like I talk that much during the day. I only talk to you guys. Hey AJ, I'm so glad you're here, buddy. It's good to have somebody in the chat. That way I know that, I'm not talking to myself, And so if I can at least picture in my mind that I'm talking to at least one other person, right, then it becomes entertaining for the person who, like, is listening during the replay, right? Because I'm considering that there's another person listening to what I'm saying. But if I'm just kind of like mumbling and like nobody's in the chat, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna say, that kind of thing. Um, then it's like you know uh, a lot harder to come up with material. But yeah, good morning. I'm glad you're here. And so what I wanted to talk about, right, is because yesterday, and I don't know what you want to talk about, what you guys want to talk about, right? We could talk about truth topics, or we could talk about any kind of, if there's any drama going on with people or whatever in the truth community, or if there's like people that you recommend or that you don't like, things like that. Um, I did want to like touch on like the once saved, always saved uh, type of type of a thing, because it was a bone of contention a little bit in our chat yesterday. And yeah, it'll say places that you could be blotted out of the book of life, right? But it, the thing uh, is that salvation is a choice, right? It's a choice to accept the gift, right, or not, right? And really, the only reason why we have a choice, right, is because God respects our human dignity, right? He um, he respects us to the point where our decision matters. If we don't want it, right, then we can exist outside the kingdom of heaven, and he's willing to contain it somewhere, right? For just so we can have a choice, right? So if you're saved, right? If you're someone who is saved, meaning you've accepted the grace and sacrifice of Jesus Christ, you know, it's not something that God would take away from you. Um, once you're saved, right? Once you've accepted the gift, you're there. It's it, it's not something you've had to earn. It's just something that you have to decide if you want it or not. And I think what people the challenging part of salvation is when people whether they believe or they don't believe in God, right? Like if they don't think that God is real, then it's challenging for them to believe in God, right? That's an effort, right? and I understand people coming from that point of view, because I used to have the point of view, right? Because I believed that most people were good and people wouldn't lie to me, and I believed that all the stuff I learned in school was true, and what they said on TV, in a smug way, I felt like I was smart like them. But really, they were just mocking me and wanting to steer me away from God, right? But I didn't know that the whole time. And so I get it, like it's an effort to believe in God, right? And if that's the reason you don't believe in God, then that's what it is. But we had someone in chat the other day saying that there is no once saved always saved, that you could be blotted out, right? And so we got to remember that when God talks, right? And I'm not a teacher, right? But this is one thing you kind of have to get right as a Christian, right? Is when God talks, he's omnipresent, right? So he created the beginning from the end, right? So yes, you can be blotted out, right? But if you are somebody that has chosen to accept the gift, right, to accept the grace of Jesus, right, then you are saved, right? It's not some achievement that you have to get. Hey, Clutch Bear, it's it's a choice, and the only reason, and I'll repeat this, the only reason why we even have a choice is because God respects us as human beings, as sentient creatures, right? We're allowed to choose not to go. And so, like, once you get to that point, no one's going to take your salvation away, because the price for your salvation was paid by Jesus. That's done for everybody. And so, yeah, you can't lose your salvation. It's not something that you can gain, so you can't lose it. And so it's just more or less of a choice. And that's the way I understand it, and that feels right to me. And so, man, I'm so glad that, like, so many people are here today. Like, I'm just so happy. And I don't know how many of you watch Dave J at all. But man, he really impresses me, man, with some of his stuff that he talks about. And he's no nonsense. I mean, like with me, when I say things, I want you to kind of investigate them and challenge me a little bit on my beliefs. And we'll have a back and forth or something like that. You tell me why you believe what you believe. I tell you why I believe what I believe, and I'll go back and forth with people. I mean, I've been going back and forth with Arwen for like 3 years now about, my view of Christianity, his view of Christianity, right? And so, but these conversations are healthy to have, right? Even though I feel like I want people to be where I'm at, because I feel like I'm right about this, right? And to a point where I feel like I'm sure, and the only reason I'd want someone else to believe it too is so that they can benefit and get everything that I feel like I'm getting. And so there's no malicious intent on my part to try to get somebody to believe in the gospel. It's something that I'm pretty much proven to myself that is real, right? That the number one reason to believe in anything is because it's true, right? And also, like, I love God, and I want other people to love God too. And so I don't know why God chose to do it the way He did it, but this is how He chose to do it. And so, like, I wanted to share that. Hey, look, this is what happened, and because of that, um, you know, you can choose to be in the kingdom of heaven with me, and we can hang out together. Like, it's not something, like, I'm not speaking from a place of arrogance or from a place of, like, I feel like I deserve heaven or that I'm good enough to be there, because I don't feel like I'm good enough to be there. But if I'm going to be there, I want you guys to be there too. I want everyone to make it. You know, there's there's not one person that I look at, or a group of people or whatever, and say, oh, I don't want those people with me. And I see that sometimes in, like, a lot of these new age Christians, right? They'll be like, you know, super spiritual or super into their, they do hard work to get their third eye open, and they're doing all this, this meditation work, right? And yeah, I'm sure they're getting some kind of gift out of that. They're getting some kind of they're connecting to something real, right? To them, right? And so like it seems like some of these people, they don't want you to go there where they're going because they feel like they've done more work than you. And I think that that's what God is trying to avoid with us, is it's not based on our works, or else one of us could say, hey, well, I did it better than you, or I deserve to be there and you don't, or judging people like that. And that's in that sense the word. When I judge somebody, right, I'm only judging whether or not you've accepted the gospel or not, only because I want you to go. That's my only motivation. And so, that's it. But hey, have any of you in the chat, right? Have any of you watched any of Dave Jade's videos? Because man, he really impresses me, and I want to learn everything he's got to teach me. But somebody left a message for me yesterday, and I don't know if it was from Dave J or not, right? But it said, if you want to talk to Dave J, here's his email, right? And so I emailed him, right, this email that they gave me, and I said, hey, look, if this is really you, I value your time and everything. Um, email me back, and maybe we could, collaborate on some things, or you could teach me whatever. And he just seems like a real good, man of God, right? He's into the truth, but he's been in this truth movement so long, right? I mean, a long time, longer than me, right? By a lot. And he's at the point now when he tells you the truth, right? If you don't believe it, you are a liar in his book, and it's because he's confident in what he knows. And so I see it, right? Like he's strict, right? And so it's kind of a harsh brand of truth. But if you can understand what he's saying, right? He's a brilliant man, and I'm not as smart as him. For sure I'm not. But I do kind of have an aptitude to understand what he's talking about, and I don't take very many mental leaps to understand it. And I know a lot of you are smart people too, and that you would understand him too. Um, but he's a brilliant man. But some of the stuff he talks about is so deep, right? That it's a challenge for me, and I want to learn that. So I'm not, I'm not, I don't want to be in here like saying, oh yeah, I discovered this new truth, and he's like super, amazing, like he's some kind of celebrity. But I like him, and he's lined up right spiritually with Jesus. And um, if someone's going to speak to me the truth, right? If they're oh hey Hannah, it's good to see you. It's late for you. It's late for you to be up at this time, right? Oh my God, what a blessing to have you in my chat. And there's a lot of you that I talk to. Outside of here, I'll chat with you guys, have different conversations, and sometimes like I'll choose what I talk about based on what I've chatted with some of you about. And Hannah's one of those people, like just like Cindy and Shiver's voice, and a lot of other people too, AJ. But yeah, it's like it's it's super. I don't know. I like this guy. I think he's super cool. I would recommend go watch his videos, but he's harsh though. He's harsh for sure. And try not to take it the wrong way. I think he's lined up. Right spiritually. Hey, Gerardo, man, that's my main man right there. Oh man, look, today is so good, man. Look at all the beautiful people that are here, and it just makes me feel so happy on a Sunday morning. 8 people, and I'm just like I'm grateful, and like I'm starting to understand, right? Um, how God is reconciling us with Him, right? And it's just it's a matter of just being a choice, and He wants us to want to be with Him, and He wants us to not want sin anymore in our lives. And we're gonna go to a place without that, and like, but like while we're here, right? while we're still in our flesh bodies and we're still corruptible, right? Um, we're gonna need to really love each other, and really be. To each other, I I, I know that a lot of us are we isolate a lot, and a lot of us like we'll want to chat with people on the phone, but we just can't. We can't quite get there to that point where we're confident enough, or we want to go out and hang out, out in the world, but just can't get confident enough to do that, right? And it seems like there's these invisible walls, right, in between us and the thing that we need to do for ourselves. And it's a real thing. I know people think of us as when we get to these places in our lives, right? That we're lazy or somehow we don't care about ourselves or that there's something wrong with us, right? And I don't know if any of you experience this, but it's like just an invisible wall between you and talking to your friend on the phone, or a wall in between you and taking the trash out, uh, or whatever, right? Whatever it is. And I've been wanting to like, you know, uh, do some stuff at the VA, and file some paperwork, and I've been wanting to do it for a year, and I haven't done it. And it's just an invisible wall, and I just have trouble climbing these invisible walls, right, in my life, right, to get to where I need to go. And I'm starting to realize what that is now, is that, we don't belong here. This place is not for us anymore, right? We belong in incorruptible bodies, right, where we're not going to be around sin anymore because we're naturally human beings and we don't want to be. And that's a very difficult place to be. And yeah, and yeah, when I get a chance, I definitely will put a link in there, or I'll get you a link in maybe another kind of way, maybe underneath the description of this. But I think it's uncomfortable being a human being once you've learned, right, that like um, the reason we never felt like we fit in anywhere is because we don't, you know, and I'm starting to wonder, you know, uh, like at what age was it that this happened to me, right? Because of course, right, I woke up with flat Earth, and that really jolted me enough where I woke up and I could see the truth in everything, right? Because I mean, at that point, I could accept that anything is a lie, right? But at what point was I different than everybody else? I would say like as like a child, like a young child, right? Like I would say something that made sense to me, but somehow didn't make sense to the group, and was rejected immediately, right? And it never made sense to me because I would say something that I thought was hilarious, or or I thought was like helpful, or like, hey guys, why don't we do this? There's more of us than there are of them, or whatever, right? And yes, I did. I have rested, but you know what? This is what's crazy, right? I'm just now getting better from my teeth, being worked on, right? And tomorrow I have like they're gonna do four more tomorrow, right? And so it's like it's like I'm jamming all of it together, so that I don't have to go too long of a period where I don't have like a two teeth in the front, that kind of thing. Like I don't want to be missing more than a few teeth at a time, just because how embarrassing that would be for me. And I think it's something that it's like vanity that I need to get over, right? I mean, if I sit there and think about it in a godly way, right? Like, yeah, it probably wouldn't bother me, but I think that to have a choice or not, right? I choose not to go a long period of time like that. And but I got to be honest about it, right? I got to be honest about my feelings and that. And so, Candace is trying to call me right. Can you guys hear me? Did it log me off? Candace is trying to call me, and I'm live right now, and so I hope that she comes by here and is able to get on to find me, Candace K. I don't know if anybody knows her, but I don't know if I could text or whatever at the same time as being live. I don't know, but yeah, and so yeah, I feel a lot better with having my teeth. Thanks for asking me, and having my teeth tomorrow. I'm gonna have more work done, so it's gonna be brutal again. And I don't take painkillers, so it's like ultimate gonna hurt me, you know. And so but hey, whatever, like see in my head, right? I think I'm like this super tough guy, right? That like, oh yeah, just go ahead and yank a few teeth out, no big deal. I'm thinking that's not really all that bad. And then while they're doing it, I feel pretty tough, and they do it, and I feel okay with it, right? And then it's when I get home, right, and just realize just what kind of a beating that really is, uh, then I'm like, man, you know what? That does take a lot out of you. Like maybe I shouldn't have been so confident or whatever. Maybe I'm not as tough as I think that I am. Because I've never been I mean, I've always been kind of average at everything, so I don't really stick out in any kind of way. So good or bad, I'm kind of average, but I've never been like a super strong guy, and so like strong enough, I guess, but like I I've lived most of my life based on toughness, based on being able to take more pain than everyone else, and this is I'm starting to really get in touch with my vulnerability and my own mortality, because I'm not young anymore, right? I'm not young anymore, and I'm not resilient anymore like I used to. And if you guys are not blue in the chat yet, like eventually you will be, and when I get to know you. Hey Gerardo, did I give you a wrench already? I just want to make sure that I did. But yeah, like as I get to know you guys, like I'll make you guys blue. That way, no one will be able to ban you or to block you when you have like an opinion that's against the main. I don't want to have an echo chamber here, right? So if there is opinions that we need to discuss that that can cause contention, I don't want people to block people, and so I think that's important, right? Because if we have an echo chamber here, then we're not challenging our own beliefs, and we're not sharpening ourselves, right? Iron sharpens iron, and so while I won't let anybody, talk about the Lord in any kind of crazy way, that kind of stuff, that's immature, that I'm not going to have that here, but if people have questions about how real are certain beliefs, or why do I believe what I believe, or how did we all get to where we are today, where we followed the truth all the way to Jesus, right? I mean, yeah, it's cool to learn about flat Earth. I mean, it was pretty amazing and shocking to me, and yeah, it was a little bit enlightening, right? Because it was a relief, right, off of me, right? But what's the point of learning that the Earth is flat, right? If you don't go all the way to the ultimate truth, which is the reason they do all that stuff, hide the Earth, or tell you come from a monkey, or is to keep you away from Jesus, is to keep you away from the grace and the gift that Jesus gives us through his sacrifice. And so I always get mad at people that want to tell me that I'm in a place where I shouldn't consider uh, the sacrifice of Jesus, that either it's not real or didn't happen, or Jesus isn't real, or we're past that time. It doesn't count for salvation anymore. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy, right? It's like, well, what is in it for people to tell me not to take the gift of sacrifice and grace from Jesus, right? Like, what is their motivation towards me, you know? And I mean, I'm at a point where I've tested all those things, right? Yeah, of course, I've had those questions too. Uh, I've questioned everything, and it's hard, right? Because I don't want to question that kind of stuff. I don't want to click on a video that says that Jesus isn't real, right? I don't. I want to just now I can discount it, right? But but there was a time where I had to click on it and test what I believe, Like, I'm willing to die for Jesus, right? So I want to know that this is real. And while it was a tough rabbit hole to go down, right? I'm glad that I'm on this side of it and I know what I know, right? Because there's a lot of people, man, that I don't know why, but they are super motivated to disprove the Bible, and they've spent so much money and so much time. Uh, I would say that the Bible is the most scrutinized book in the history of the world. Like, the, it's like for anyone to think that someone would make up Christianity to control people, right? When the whole point of the story is that it's freeing us from what we're obligated to pay and our punishment, right? Like, it, if you were going to control somebody with religion, you would have you would make up one where like works were involved, right? Where people would have to follow certain rules to get to heaven, right? And so, for anyone to say that Christianity is made up to control people, I mean, just hearing that is like sad to me, because that person probably wants what I want in life, right? A nice life where people aren't doing gross stuff and around them, and people are acting right, and just a good life where everyone's happy, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are people out there that want what I want, but they don't know that God is the way to do it. And yeah, yeah, like, what's crazy is this, right? Is that, yeah, I don't get to decide, right, how God wanted to do this whole story, right? How God wanted to do his creation, and we messed that up, right? And he came and reconciled us to him, right? And paid the punishment for our sins. Now, could God have done it a different way? Sure. Could God have created us where sin wasn't a choice, right? Sure. But that's not what it is. And so I feel like just telling the truth, right, is the best. People get so upset with, like, why did Jesus have to die, right? A blood sacrifice, right, for us to go to heaven. That just doesn't sound right. And, well, hey, look, maybe it doesn't sound right to you. uh, you'll get over it. But all I know, right, is that it's true, right? Like, if I was God, maybe I would do it different. Maybe I'd have different rules. I don't know. Some rules are uncomfortable for me, you know, and so I'm naturally just not. Uh, I'm not. It's an effort for me to be a Christian. And I do it, number one, because it's true, and number two, because I love God. I respect the fact that I'm not the boss, and He is, and He gets to define what's right and wrong. And the problem with the world today, right, if you just think about it, right, is two things, right? One, the rejection of the truth, right? People not wanting to hear the truth, they just want to hear what they want to hear, right? And number two is we keep redefining what's right and wrong every year as people. We try to do it ourselves. We accept more stuff, more and more each year. It's like, okay, well, this was weird 20 years ago, but now it's okay. Or this was, considered horrific, and now it's okay. And so, I keep seeing, like the jokes and the humor in mainstream comedy, right, is getting to the nasty. I mean, it's already nasty. It's beyond nasty what these people joke about and try to desensitize us to. And I used to like watching. When I was watching mainstream television. This is a few years ago. I used to like watching Family Guy. But now when you look at clips of Family Guy, right, it's all pedo jokes. And it makes it's disgusting. And this is something that I used to watch. And so it's like, man, it's just a shame, right, that's what people joke about. it's uncomfortable for me to even talk about it, right? And so when we go over, to Tony's, and we're in his chat, and we're trying to expose people to do things like that, right? I mean, just to imagine that there is people laughing about that, is I mean, it tells you where we are as a society. I don't know where all these people are getting this, like, oh yeah, in hundreds or thousands of years, and it'll be the end of time. It's not going to be anytime soon, right? Well, number one, there is no end of the world. I mean, God's coming here, and we're going to follow God, right? We're going to move on, right? No, it's not the end of nothing, right? And number two, right? I don't know anybody. I mean, where are you getting this that we're going to last another 100 years with us going degrading at the pace that we're degrading as people, And yeah, yeah. It's what's crazy is like I like how you say that, private beautiful. Like the sweet words, right? And like I remember being like in like a church and hearing like a pastor say, and I don't go to church that often because I just can't find one that I'm comfortable in, really. But hearing a pastor say, "Oh yeah, the TV is evil. We got to stop watching TV," and here I am, go, "Yeah, preach it, baby, preach it," because that's sweet to my ears, right? But to other people, they were like groaning and not wanting to hear it, right? And like, it makes me wonder, like, like like just how degraded are we, I mean, it's obvious what's happening, right? If you're a moderately smart person, right, you know that, hey, look, the loudest voice in the house used to be mom or dad, right? And ever since like the 50s, right, it's been the television. And so the TV is the loudest voice in everyone's house. It talks the most, and everyone has one in their house, right? It just goes to show you what's really happening, And I don't know how to look at the chat. I would love to look at the chat. Oh yeah. So the golden rule. Okay. Okay. So if your reasoning for not trusting the Bible, as you say, might want to hold hold to one or more of the misconceptions made by, oh yeah, zeitgeist, yeah, man, it's horrible, right? And so like we go down these rabbit holes, right, that are just so, I mean, just so horrible, right? And then we find out just how these fall apart. Child, thanks for bringing that up. But there's all this scrutiny of like of Jesus in the Bible and all that, and just these things just fall apart, and it's funny how fast it falls apart when you really look into it. But see, the problem is if you don't have faith before you read the Bible doesn't make sense to you. The preaching of the cross, I think it's in Corinthians chapter 1 verse 18. The preaching of the cross to someone who's perishing, right, is foolishness, right? It's foolishness to them, right? But to us, we know that is the power of God, right? And so, you know, uh, if they're reading the Bible and it's not making sense, right, because they're reading it prior to having the faith in God, right? Um, because it speaks to you in a different way once you have faith in Jesus, right? And they're trying to read it in an intellectual kind of way, like as a scholar, right? And if you have faith, that's fine, right? Because you're reading it with the Holy Spirit, right? But if you're reading it as a scholar, it'll make all kinds of contradictions to you, right? That aren't in there, And so it's a magical book in that way, right? And then also, if you don't want it to be true, right? Oh yeah, yeah, that's great. Go ahead and put Paula's stuff in here. Yeah, that's great. But yeah, and so um, yeah, so where was I at? Where was I at? Oh yeah, so if you don't want the Bible to be true, and you don't want to believe in Jesus, right? Then you're gonna find so many reasons. and so many motivated people to help you not believe in it, right? So if you're reading the Bible without faith, right, in what Jesus did on the cross, it's not going to make sense to you, right? And then if you're looking for a way out, right, of to not believe it, you'll find it, And that's just how this world is, right? Your faith will save you, and the truth will set you free, right? And that's exactly how it happened, In my life, my faith has saved me, and the truth has set me free of this world even, because now I feel like I'm outside of the world looking in, right? I'm watching it like a movie. I'm watching it go by me, and every time I see something on the news, it's like kind of hints towards the end, right? It kind of makes me excited in a way. I mean, of course, I grieve for the world if anything bad is happening for anybody, right? But when things start to like give me confirmation of the Bible, I start to, okay, they're playing with my connection and all that. So, I'll just stay on for 5 minutes because my phone is starting to overheat. But I'm really, happy that you guys decided to come out and spend this time with me. And I'm just really grateful for another Sunday to worship Jesus. And I'm definitely going to go over and see Paula's stream today. I don't know exactly when it starts because I'm in California. It's still pretty early. But I just want to say to everybody, have a good week, and let's try to love each other a little bit extra, I think, because being a truther, number one, is already isolating, and then on top of that, being a Christian in the truth community, with so many people focused on witchcraft and focused on other ways to navigate the world, right? Still in their flesh, right? And it's sad, right? And so like we gotta love on each other. We really do, and encourage each other. Not all of us are gonna believe all the same things, right? Because we're a body, right, of Christ. Like you can't ask a hand to hold a spoon, right? And I mean a foot to hold the spoon, right? Of course, a hand could do it, but and it's like you know, I just want us to like appreciate each other for our gifts, right? Maybe one person is good at scrutinizing a video. Maybe one person's good at scrutinizing pictures. Maybe one person's good at going out and doing observations. Maybe one person's good at finding the hand signs and the number coding and things, right? And so we all have different gifts of like you know, figuring out the truth, right? Some people can tell when someone's lying to them or not, right, in a very good way, right? And it's some of us can kind of do it all a little bit. And but it's like we got to start appreciating each other for our gifts, and start sharpening each other up. And it's okay to have little arguments, right? Because the moment we stop having arguments, right, is when we're starting to when we're starting to make the road wider, right, to accept more people, right? Yeah, gematria is a big part of it, and I know God says to stay away from trying to divine the future, but I am subscribed to I think his name is Zach Hubbard or something, and I do watch it, right, because it is real, and so I do watch it sometimes to see what's going on. And also I try to stay into like that new age stuff. I try to watch some channels on that, like Santos or whatever his name is. He's so full of demons, it's crazy, but it's almost unbearable for me to watch it. But I want to be able to see where people are coming from, when they come here and they don't believe in Jesus. I want to know what exactly do they believe and why. What are they getting out of it? What are they connecting to? You know. And so, yeah, I will watch channels that use gematria or gematria, however you pronounce that, and but I don't use it myself to divine the future. I don't make any divinations, but um, I definitely know that it's true. And so, yeah, and so, hey, Martin, I'm so glad you're here too. And just, man, there's so many people have come here, and I'm just so grateful for you guys, man. And just thank you for coming here. You know, I know I say that all the time, and I can't say it enough. You know, we just need each other. You guys are my release in the morning, and I hope that I'm that for you too. But I'll just say God bless you, and praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. And I'll see you later, okay?